Hello everyone, this is Anrich. In today's video, I'm going to talk about how to save tax in South Africa using the solar panel tax incentive for individuals. In this presentation, we're going to look at what are the requirements to claim the incentive, for who is it, what are the specifics, and why is SARS allowing it on some items and not on others. Let's get into it. So the solar panel tax incentive for individuals, why did SARS come up with this incentive, or why did Treasury come up with this incentive? So the government wants households to invest in clean electricity generation, which can supplement the electricity supply by Eskom. So what they're saying is that there is a shortage of electricity in South Africa, and they want to provide an incentive whereby the public can generate additional power or generate additional electricity, and then also get a tax incentive for that. So how long will the incentive be available? The incentive will be available for 1 year. This will be for the 2024 year of assessment, which runs from the 1st of March 2023 up until the 29th of February 2024. Who can claim the incentive? The incentive is aimed at individuals who pay personal income tax, and the incentive takes the form of a rebate against their tax liability. This part of the incentive is not aimed at businesses, so this is only aimed at persons or natural persons and the income tax. Okay, great, but what can be claimed? So individuals will be able to claim a rebate of 25% of the cost of new and unused solar photovoltaic PV panels, but only up to a maximum of 15,000 Rand per individual. The rebate refers to a deduction from your tax liability as opposed to a deduction from your taxable income. I then just created this little table to give you three different options just to show you how the calculation works. So if your amount of panels is 5 and the cost per panel is 4,000 Rand per panel, that would mean you've spent a total of 20,000 Rand, and then the rebate will be calculated as 25% times 20,000 Rand. And because we see that this equals 5,000 Rand, and it's less than the 15,000 Rand, you will be able to claim the full 5,000 Rand as a rebate. The next example will be if there is 10 PV panels at 4,000 Rand per panel, the total amount spent will be 40,000 Rand. Then we will calculate the rebate as 40,000 Rand times 25% equals 10,000 Rand, and this also is not limited because it is less than 15,000 Rand. The third example will be if you buy 20 PV panels at a cost of 4,000 Rand per panel, the total amount spent is 80,000 Rand, and then we work out the rebate as 80,000 Rand times 25%, limited to 15,000 Rand. So we see if we take 25% of 80,000 Rand, that works out to 25,000 Rand, and then that is more than the 15,000 Rand. So it means the rebate that is claimable will only be 15,000 Rand and not the full 20,000 Rand as calculated. So what are the requirements to claim this tax incentive? It is only for new and unused solar panels or solar PV panels that are part of a new system or where you extend your existing system. Why? Because the government wants to ensure that the capacity created adds to that the country already has in place. So they want us to generate additional power and electricity, and they want us to add to what is already in place. So only solar panels with a minimum capacity of 275 watts per panel qualify for the rebate. And unfortunately, the installation cost that you will pay to put them in place and affix them to your home will be excluded. So it's important to look at what that capacity per panel is and make sure that it's at least the 275 watts. The following, however, do not qualify for the incentive. So these items do not form part of that cost that you will multiply by 25%. And they are the batteries, the inverters, the fittings or diesel generators, and also portable panels. So there's a difference between the panels that you put up against your home and portable panels, that can just stand around anywhere and stand on their own. It's also the incentive is only for residents mainly used by an individual for domestic or living purposes. In other words, this is not for your home business or your garage that's turned into a business. This is aimed at your dwelling. What you will need is a certificate of compliance that you have to collect in terms of the electrical installations regulations of 2009, and this is just for safety and regulation purposes. So from this you will see that you need to be in contact with an electrician that does this installation properly, and that will also be able to supply you with an electrical certificate just to make sure everything's in order. We continue. The solar PV panels must be connected to the main distribution of the private residence. So again, they want to make a distinction between what is used for business and what is used for private. It has to be connected to your main private source and your main distribution inside of your residential home. So the rebate for the solar panel PV panels must be brought into use for the first time in the 2024 year of assessment, which runs from the 1st of March 2023 up until the 29th of February 2024. So they're saying that you must buy these new and unused solar PV panels, and you must first bring them into use within this period in order to qualify for this incentive. So what do you need to claim the incentive? What documents do you need to have on file to claim the incentive? This will be a VAT invoice that indicates the cost of the solar PV panel separately from other items. So you will have to get this from the supplier, the person that supplies you with these solar PV panels. You need to get an invoice that actually shows the cost of the solar PV panels, and that has to be shown separate from the inverters, batteries, installation, and so on. They can't just quote you one all-inclusive price, because then you're not able to split it out, and then the whole amount can be added back. So what you will need is you'll need to see what that solar PV panels cost, and that those items be listed separately in order to claim this tax incentive. You also need proof of payment that you actually made the payment. So it's not just enough to have the invoice. You also need to provide the proof of payment in addition to the invoice. And then you also need that certificate of compliance that prove that the solar PV panels were brought into use for the first time during the 2024 year of assessment. So when can you claim this incentive? So if you're thinking of your tax return and where can you actually go and claim it. So if you're a non-provisional taxpayer, that means you don't receive other income than a salary on which pay as you earn is deducted, then you can claim it during the 2023-2024 filing season, which will be more or less from July of 2024. For provisional taxpayers, we know that you do 3 tax returns a year. The first for 2024 will be in August 23, the second one will be in February 24, and the final one will be in July 24. So at each of those stages, when you calculate your provisional tax, you will be able to take this solar incentive rebate into account if you bought those new unused panels and you brought them into use. Why can't you claim on diesel generators, inverters, batteries, and installation costs? I know this sounds really unfair. The reasons that Treasury and government provided are as follows. So for diesel generators, they say that it's seen as emergency backup, and it is not a sustainable solution. What it will also do is it will increase the demand for fuel. So if everyone uses these generators, they have to buy fuel or diesel to run them, and that will increase the demand for that, and also put that price and the price of oil up with that. It will also go against what the government is trying to achieve with its climate objectives and carbon taxes, and it will also have a negative effect on our environment. Why can't you claim on the inverters and the batteries? So what they say is that the inverters and the batteries can be operated without actually having solar panels, in place, offering no additional capacity to the system. So what they can say is you can have an inverter and a battery in place as backup power. You don't necessarily need the solar panels. So that's why they're excluding it from this incentive. Also, that the solar PV panels incentive focuses on creating additional generation capacity, and the rebate is focused on the component that is most directly linked to the generation. Therefore, the installation costs are also not included. The installation cost one I'm struggling with, because I think there is an installation cost involved of actually fixing that panel to your roof, and I would have liked to see that being included as part of the panels, but yeah, this is what they've come up for now, and we're not allowed to include that. So again, that will need to be shown separately on your invoice, the installation cost. So what now if you rent but you don't own the property? So the incentive is not limited to ownership. So if the landlord pays for the solar panels, then the landlord can claim it in their taxes as an individual. If the person that rents pays for the solar panels, then the renter can claim the rebate in their taxes. Just not in both. So the landlord and the renter can't both claim the deduction. Only the person that made the installation and paid for it can claim it. Will SARS want to recover monies if I sell my home after installing the solar PV panels? Luckily, SARS won't try to recoup the monies you basically claimed as a rebate when you sell your house, because they are assuming that you will leave these solar panels on your house as a fixture as part of selling your house, and the new owner that moves in will then also make use of these solar panels. There is, however, a clawback of the rebate if you sell these panels within 1 year, and for more guidance, they said if you sell them before 1 March 2025. So just imagine you put these panels on your roof, you claim that that rebate, and then you go and sell it for a profit, or you try to make money off that. So SARS will go against that, and they say you need to keep these panels on your roof if you've claimed the rebate for at least until the 1st of March 2025. So this is just to counter the potential abuse that can slip in from this incentive. I then included an example of two individuals, Johan, who is 50 years old, and Susan, who is 42 years old. So to keep a few things the same, I said they have the same taxable income, so that is their profit for tax of 550,000 Rand. What I then said is that normal tax calculated on 550,000 Rand is 134,867 for both of them. All natural persons receive a primary rebate. I showed you that they are less than 65 years old, so they will only qualify for the primary rebate of 17,235. And then the solar incentive rebate, Susan, I've provided more information, purchased solar panels of 50,000 Rand during the 2024 year of assessment, and she brought them into use. So she can claim 25% of the 50,000 Rand, which works out to 12,500 Rand. We know that this is less than the 15,000 Rand, so it's not limited, and she can take into account the calculated 12,500 Rand. Then we see there is a subtotal. For Johan, it's 117,632. For Susan, it's 105,132. Then the pay as you earned it calculated on taxable income of 550,000 Rand per the SARS pay as you earn tables works out to 117,632. And we see that if Johan didn't use the incentive and pay as you earn was deducted, his tax payable would be 0. For Susan, who has now used this tax incentive for the solar panels, we can see that she brings into account the rebate of 12,500 Rand for the 50,000 Rand that she actually spent, and then she is due a refund of 12,500 Rand from SARS when she submits her 2024 tax return after July 2024. Yes, Susan didn't have any other income, so she will be a non-provisional taxpayer. And what we can see from that 12,500 Rand is it's basically a refund of the pay as you earn that she's already paid. So it's basically a refund of that 117,632, where SARS is providing her, with a credit of 12,500 Rand, and it comes from utilizing that solar incentive rebate. So this is how the benefit works and how it can result in a refund in submitting your income tax return. Then I've come to the end. I just want to thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. I trust you find the presentation useful, and if so, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please also click the notification bell and share this video. Here is the URL link to my YouTube channel as well as my LinkedIn if you want to go and look at it. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye-bye.